Hello, welcome to Collabie. I am a minute late, 2 minutes late. Sorry about that. This is also difficult. I have a guest today that I'm going to bring in quickly because let's get into it and have fun. We have a full hour ahead of us. I don't even know if we're going to get to everything because we have a couple things at the end we want to try out. I am joined, hopefully by now you realize, with Tyler Pate, who's a really fantastic designer and illustrator, creator and artist. We've been talking about the difference of like illustration versus art and all of the different things that we want to learn and play around with. He's also an art director at Nickelodeon. We've been friends on the internet for a couple of years, and we finally met at Adobe Max last October. And so I asked him to come on today's stream, and man, it's been fun. I will throw us into Tyler's face right here. Hey, Tyler, what's up?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Thanks for being here, man.
Hey, it's my pleasure, man. I'm excited, especially with what we're gonna dive into and learning more about what Collabie is. It's like, oh man, this is gonna be a challenge, but in a fun, creative way. So,
yeah, we're all kind of learning what Collabie is together as well, I think. And I'm just gonna get the chat up, but hi to everybody in chat too. Feel free to say hi and let us know where you're chiming in from. We're gonna want some. Definitely want some participation from chat today if we can on some ideas. But yeah, so for anyone that's tuning in for the first time or even for the fourth or fifth time now, like still figuring out what Collabie is exactly. And so much of the fun with it has been the offline meetings that I've had with everybody and like kind of pitching an idea, but then workshopping it back and forth. So Tyler and I got started on our version or our branch of Collabie. Was it last like Wednesday or Thursday before the weekend? And I kind of give him this idea of like, look, I want it to be like, we're kind of drawing live. I don't want it to be super sophisticated. And what can we get away with? And it should be fun and silly. And we went back and forth a little bit. Tyler, do you want to try to run them down on what the rules and the ideas are today?
Yeah, so we decided to create a overarching theme, right? So our theme for this one is buried treasure. So we thought we would have both that umbrella to work under, and then from that, each of us illustrated our own character. And then from that character, we had to pull five, I wouldn't say it have to be primary shapes, but significant shapes from that, change it to one color, and I'm going to give those shapes to you. You're going to give your shapes to me. And then from those shapes, we're going to then build a unique character from that. So we can add to it, but we can't subtract, right?
Yeah.
And then you found a really interesting color palette that we're going to have to work under too. So there's going to be that added feature to it. So limited colors, limited shapes, but we can expand on what those shapes could do.
Exactly. Yeah, the palette is kind of extreme. So the other thing is that our AI file is in the description to download, hopefully. If not, it will be soon, or you can refresh for it if it's not already in there. And hopefully people draw along with us. So yeah, the idea was just to like pull 5 unique shapes out of our illustration, toss them over. We think of it kind of like, you know, when you're looking at clouds and you're like, what do you see up in the clouds? What do I see up in the clouds? We all see something different. So Tyler has my 5 shapes. I have Tyler's 5 shapes. We've traded and we're going to draw for the next 40 minutes or so, see where we get. I think both of us are pretty committed to staying in Illustrator rather than sketching in Photoshop. And I think it's going to be another good constraint. It like forces us to really work with shapes and like build illustration rather than, you know, sketching them out. And there's a time and a place for it all. But this is the fastest way to get started.
Yeah, I think let's jump over and show the shapes, because there's something that I think is really interesting is we haven't seen each other's final design that we've done with our own shapes. Yeah. So fun fact, if you do download the file that's provided, everything's in there. So you could see something that I haven't seen or you haven't seen. But there's like, what is our final designs of these shapes? And it's fascinating, especially seeing your shapes. They're so Kirk shaped. It's like very illustrated in your style. And I'm like, okay, this could be a lot of things.
All right, let me jump to our screens. We're jumping over, so now we should see both of our screens. So I'm to the top left, Tyler's in the bottom right. And if we zoom in a little bit, this is the file that we've also given to you all to grab and play with if you so desire. And it's fun. So I resized. I think all the shapes are kind of like sized in a proportional thing. So to kind of and rotated randomly. So again, I'm not trying to rebuild exactly what Tyler's made, but I kind of want to also get in his headspace a little bit and try to see what it might be. But also like just working on an idea around buried treasure. So ideas are great, chat. If you see something that calls out to a specific idea or whatever, I'm very down to get help from the chat because I feel like I will crack under pressure. So any help is good. But should we get into it, man?
Yeah, I think we should definitely. This is going to be a really good exercise for problem solving. I feel like this is what I'm always doing at work. So it's just like, here are the variables. What can we make with this? And let's get it done under a time restraint. So
yeah,
here we go.
Very restrained. And restraints breed creativity, right? Like it's the way to force yourselves out of it.
Okay, so I have already separated your shapes down here.
I'm going to focus on you for a second, Tyler, just so I can get the live chat up on Adobe.
Okay, so I've got 5 shapes, and I have taken a glance at these shapes just before the chat, and it's interesting. There's so many different directions I can go with this, but one thing that I think we haven't really said was we could break these apart since there's multiple shapes within one.
Totally.
So I think there's something special with this little, I don't even know what you call that. It looks kind of like a claw to me since we're talking buried treasure. So I'm gonna avoid the obvious of making it a claw. But
I know that's the trick, is like avoid the obvious. And Tyler, are you working on your Cintiq as well right now?
Yeah, so I'm drawing on a 27-inch Wacom Cintiq, and then I have a monitor up here looking at you guys. So it's a nice workflow for me.
Yeah, I think we are the same. I'm just sliding mine out now, so the microphone might bump for a second. But yeah, so when I'm looking down, I'm just looking down at the Cintiq, and I see Tyler's shapes. I'm gonna start by basically just like making a new artboard over here on the right, and just copy them over. And I think for the first, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, I'm just gonna be like arranging them in different ways as if they're Lego pieces and like resizing them and rescaling them a little bit. And then from there I'll start drawing on top. Tyler, I'm just going to give your audio a little bit of a boost. Thank you, Chris, for telling us that's my fault.
Yeah, it's tricky to think about where to start with these.
Chris, let me know if that's better for sound.
See if any thoughts in the chat, or if anyone's following along and playing this game with us. That would be pretty exciting.
Yeah, we'd love to see it, and just tag us on Instagram and all of that later when you finish something, or tell us what you're working on and how you're playing around with it. I have an idea. I see a couple things already. I'm going to color mine random colors as well, just so they can overlap better.
That's a good call.
Give myself a couple different shapes. Just so I happen to have the same amount of colors as the same amount of shapes, which is just a beautiful coincidence.
You know, I'm seeing a mustache with these little claw doodads.
Yeah, ripping them apart is fun. I like that idea. And even like, I mean, I suppose eventually I'm down to like duplicate them too if you need multiples of things. But I'm starting with simple. I'm seeing Captain Crunch like pretty quickly with mine.
Let's see if I'm just gonna draw and see where I can go with this. This looks like a it's like a clothesline pin. It kind of reminds me of putting one of those on your nose and going diving.
Oh yeah, right. Buried treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also trying to figure out like a theme of like I want to kind of tell a story. Mine's probably going to end up being a character because everything I make ends up being a character. So I'm like, do I want this to be somebody that's like stealing buried treasure or protecting their buried treasure or what? I gotta turn my mic down a little bit. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. This is interesting. I'm just kind of drawing on top of these shapes just to see if I can visualize anything. And then I'll go back and probably make these a little more refined.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing, just using like the blob brush pen or tool, just with like full black, just to kind of like get a sense of some shapes. How often are you sketching in Photoshop? I'm assuming most of your sketching is done in Photoshop, right? Or I meant Illustrator. How often are you doing Illustrator?
I sketch. Honestly, I probably sketch more in an actual sketchbook, pencil and paper, than anything. And then I've been trying to get in the habit of just doing it digitally more, just easier to make some edits on the fly. So Photoshop's typically where I do it, and then I'll just bring that drawing into Illustrator and go from there.
Sure.
How about yourself?
I've only recently started sketching more in Fresco, because I would do like Procreate forever.
Nice.
And then I started doing Fresco just because like I could grab a couple brushes that I was used to using so frequently. And there's something, it just feels like I don't know, there's a difference. It just feels like very toothy and really nice. And I've found like a nice meditative flow of sketching in Fresco and then just bringing it into Illustrator. But 90% of my work ends up in Illustrator anyway, honestly. Like I sketch just enough to kind of get the ideas out. And then I'm really like playing in Illustrator.
Yeah, I typically work in Illustrator the most. That's just because I enjoy vector so much.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, I think for most of freelance kind of things, it's usually where I'm going. But for actual things with consumer products, it's always best to have vector for scalability.
Sure.
Because we never know where it's going to go. I mean, it could be a T-shirt, it could be a billboard. You really don't know.
Right.
So, the perks of having it as much in vector as possible is always our benefit.
I'm stumped on this shape of what I want to do with it. But I've got a thing going on here that's like kind of like I see skull at first with this pink shape.
Yeah.
But I also am doing more of the like I feel like what's the Pirates of the Caribbean guy? It's like someone that like looks like a squid or some shit, right? With like the long tentacle face.
It's not Davy Jones, is it?
I don't know because I never saw the movie. I've only seen like the depiction of that weird ass character, and so that's what I got. Especially, I think it's just because I randomly chose pink for the face, and so I'm like, all right, it's gonna be like a squid character basically, and he's not gonna be noble. He's gonna be evil, is what I've determined.
Oh man, that's awesome.
I'm just gonna try to start drawing some lines inside of stuff and see what I get.
Here's where I struggle with the early stages of the idea. I usually bounce back and forth if it's personal projects we're talking, it's like, do I want to go funny? Do I want to go cute? Do I want to go serious? You know, and then because that changes the eye styles, that changes the shape of the head.
Sure.
There's so many that I start thinking about.
I'm going, this character is very stern and but more cute. Like I keep thinking of your there was like a badge sticker that you did of like the cowboy that cries or whatever, the super cute like big doughy eyed character. What was it? It's like don't yell at me, I'll cry or something, or like don't mess with me.
Oh man, I ain't your buddy pal.
Yeah. I want to achieve that sort of look of like a want to be tough but isn't tough is what I'm going for with this sort of squid monster thing.
Let's see.
This could also be a pot of gold, but maybe that's tiny. I also got to make duplicates of things because I got an idea of like maybe this one's the tiny hat makes him look like kind of a mobster, but then if I go big, the hat looks more like a goofy hat. And if it doesn't fit him, it's because he stole it, which I like. Hi, everyone in chat. Just catching up in chat real quick. Nice to see everybody waving and saying hi's. If you all have any ideas for shapes, please feel free for Tyler or I.
Yes, please help. I don't.
I'm gonna write myself a little story.
I feel like it's making this into some sort of little beach critter would be really fun. I'm thinking this crab.
Ooh, wow, you got a good drawing going on there. With
a mustache. Just make it completely random.
Yeah, it's giving Mario Kart beach level where the little crabs would like run around and bump into you.
Oh man, those little things.
Guarding.
That's a hard level. I was actually playing that not too long ago.
Yeah.
On the N64. I ended up rebuying all my video games as a kid. And the N64 was one of those, and Mario Kart is it's a lot harder than I remembered.
Yeah, it can be. I was a huge fan of Diddy Kong's racing over Mario Kart. It was just like my favorite thing. It was so dang fun, but it was, very much a spiritual, same kind of game. But I just I fell into that club, I guess. I don't know why. Guarding stolen treasure. All right, so I got a character that's guarding his stolen treasure. That's kind of my story. And also he's a squid or whatever. Imaginary Lobo says it's giving Lorax. I think probably to yours, Tyler.
It's that mustache, man.
Yeah, and Dr. Robotnik too.
Oh, I couldn't think of his name earlier, but it is kind of like him, right? I'm also trying to visualize what he looks like in my head without looking it up. I know he has goggles.
Yeah.
I know he's like very, like,
it's a big round shaped fella. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are saying Mr. Krabs. I have a feeling that's probably difficult for you not to run into just a little bit.
Gotta love
How
that.
often do you find yourself like because you're working with Nickelodeon IP pretty often, right?
Yeah.
I mean, day to day. Does that slip into your like subconscious kind of frequently when you're drawing even for yourself, like based on like what show you might be working on that month or something?
I don't know if it sneaks its way in, but I feel like I've always had that in my work in some little way, whether it's these zoomed in, gross out depictions of something. I mean, that's where that kind of stems from for me. It's Ren and Stimpy, SpongeBob. Rocco kind of did it, but those zoom ins are so fun, and I love putting that in there. And I'm constantly trying to push that even at work. I'm like, we should do more things like this.
More of the gross ups.
Yeah, it's like, this is the fandom stuff, man. I'm telling you. This is what we want more of. Because like coming from a fan myself, it's like that's so fun.
I'm going to jumble up my colors because they'll spark my imagination too.
I think I'm going to commit to the crab idea. So I'm gonna move this somewhat of a sketch, if you want to call it that, to the side, and then I'm kind of referencing that as I'm going.
Yeah.
So what's your process looking like? You're drawing and doodling too?
Yeah, I'm taking that from you just with the blob tool, just to kind of get a sense of a couple things, and yeah, really just like getting a sketch, and then I can sort of play. Like I really want to get into the pen tool, but I just want to like sketch as quickly as I can first. I'm trying to find. Have you placed all of your shapes yet? Not yet, right?
No.
I think that's where I'm getting stuck. I'm like forcing myself to use them all right out of the gate, and I think maybe they come later.
It may be. I think my approach right now is what's working, focus on that, and if I get down on time, then it's like, all right, cram these remaining
Yeah,
shapes
sure.
somewhere. That's what I'm thinking. Uh, let's see. Let's go ahead and make these color palettes accessible.
Jeffrey says Ren and Stimpy invented the gross up. Always had me kneeled over laughing. Yeah, I think probably quite literally. I mean, you probably know the history more than I, but I feel like Ren and Stimpy was pretty OG with the gross ups, right?
Yeah, that's some of the first I recall too, and
They
oh
were
man,
shocking.
they were real shocking. And there's this one, and I won't detail you with everything, but you'll know what I'm talking about. There's one where I think Ren has his teeth gone, and there's a little nerve,
Oh, I
and
do remember that. It's
animation is top notch, but it really feels like the pain's there.
Yep, yep. The
Traumatized me.
sensitivity of that nerve. Yeah, no, those
Mm.
things stick in our heads.
Maybe
All
use
right,
this
this
people.
captain needs a skull on the hat. I'm still just in doodle mode. I'll build my shapes out a little bit better later. But let's try that.
Yeah, I think I'm getting somewhere with mine.
Oh yeah, you are.
Just
I
trying
gotta
to
catch up.
think through.
The time flies. We're already 23 minutes in too.
It really does.
Let me get some eyeballs in here. Okay. I think I'm good to commit to this. I just don't know what I'm gonna do with this shape. Oh wait. Maybe I keep forgetting I can like resize things too and make things big and small.
Mm-hmm.
It's
See how
such a
chat's
good
doing.
beard. But I want to make it into something else. I don't want the shape. This is obviously a weapon that they're using to defend their treasure chest.
The chat's pretty funny. Ernesto is always bringing the deep cuts. He's like this is probably more like Mr. Krabs' weird uncle with a mustache. This is definitely a family member. I'll give you that.
I gotta figure out what's going on with this little body. This sea scroll body. Maybe it's like a poofy shirt with buttons. A little bit there. I don't know why, but I'm feeling like my character's also like was a clown at one point in their life, I guess.
He's like a carny.
There's something like just like collecting stuff. I think he's just collecting gear from the bottom of the ocean, and like he kind of takes what he can, which I guess is like what hermits do, sort
Yeah.
of, right? They just like use what they can.
Mm-hmm.
Chris says I got to switch lately and feel like all the games are harder than I remembered. Yeah, well, they are, and we're getting older, and we're not. Anytime I try to play like a modern game too, it's like
Mm-hmm.
it's such a it's tough. It really shows my age. Or like just to learn like what the rules of the games are of like like when the circle is shrinking and you got to stay inside it. You're like I didn't know that this was like the meta of video games today.
It's interesting what I've noticed, and maybe it's just the choice of games I'm picking, but they're so long. Like all the games are so long. It takes up so much time to where I halfway through, even if it's a great game, I'm like, all right, I probably need to get up and
Yeah.
not sit here for another hour. But it's just so much time.
Have you been playing anything lately?
I honestly I always gravitate to Tony Hawk Pro Skater,
Sure.
um, because I can just beat each level on one go. So I'm just
It's a
going down the
dopamine
line of every
rush.
character. Yeah, it's like I can achieve something in what is it, 2 minutes?
2.5 minutes or whatever, right?
Yep, that is what happens.
All right, I
What
got
about
I got
you?
a big
Do you play
unlock
anything?
here with my character of
Oh wait.
adding this bandito mask has really shifted things for me. It's
Dude, I like the pupils. Are you keeping the pupils like that?
yeah, because I started just scribbling them and now they're like funny. And somebody in chat was saying different size pupils, which they might have been talking about yours, but I made mine bigger, and I actually am
Yeah.
liking the difference. Like my guy is like has not seen daylight in many years. He's like at the bottom
Yeah.
of the spot, uh, so he's a little gnarly
Yeah.
looking.
This guy is gonna take your wallet. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. An
I,
attitude buried treasure.
there's
Maybe he
there's
has a
nothing
shovel.
nothing good from that guy.
I'm gonna replace this arm with a real arm now. Am I playing anything? It's a while ago now, kind of, but like what I in my head spiritually, I'm still playing the Tears of the Kingdom Zelda game, and just like really obsessed with it. I haven't picked it up in probably a couple months, but I was really enjoying that. Um,
Is that the
but
one on the Switch?
that's the one on the Switch. Yeah, it's really fun. It's
Yeah.
like has this like whole building component. You can like make robots and do all this stuff. It's a
Nice.
blast.
Trying to figure out how should I get this. I'm trying to visualize a like a hermit crab shell without looking at one, and it's I'm like getting hung up on the details of some things. I'm like, well, what does the face of this guy look like?
Right.
Have these other pieces around it. So this
Um,
is what it's like for me to struggle live.
yeah, I'm realizing I'm fully committing to not impressing anybody today. Like it's like this is not. I'm like go to my portfolio if you want to be impressed at all. This is more about having fun and dragging shapes around like it's a
This is right.
refrigerator with magnets all over it. Some boots here.
What is it?
Little skinny legs.
Maybe.
Chris, are you being
Hmm.
intimidated by Breath of the Wild or the Zelda game that I was talking about? Is that what you were saying? It's so fun. I think if you are talking about that, remember we watched your friend's son play it on his Switch, and it was really cool. I think you liked it. We were helping. I was at Chris's house, and one of his friends had
Hmm.
his maybe like I don't know if he was maybe 6 or 7 years old kid, but he was like building all of these like mech robots in the game, and it was so cool. And I was like, why don't you go get a pencil and like draw out the ideas that you have? And he's like, yeah, I can do like a flame to like make him go faster and some wings.
Whoa.
It's a cool game.
I've watched clips from it because I think a lot of the content from it I feel like goes viral because somebody will make a skyscraper vehicle
Yeah,
and it's just going a million miles an hour across the map.
yeah,
And that's about all I know of it, though. I know
yeah.
you can make stuff that looks pretty complex. It reminds me of a game I did like to play. It was a Little Big Planet. Did you ever
Oh,
play
sure.
that
Yeah,
back in
yeah,
the day?
yeah. Totally.
The first one and the second one, like early 2000s,
Yep.
was so fun. I would just get so creative with it and try to make like my own levels.
Yeah, that's what's so cool is it was like it's dead simple to play, but impossible to
Hmm.
master kind of thing. Like you could play it
Yeah.
forever.
Where is this shell going?
All right, I'm officially feeling like I'm kind of cooking a little bit with mine now that I'm committing to some shapes. I get a bandito. He's got a little mask. He stole this hat. He's using.
You are seriously making the story. That's awesome.
It's the only way I gotta fully commit to it. I'm trying to figure out like what this piece of paper is. I feel like it's like a I don't know what any of these words mean, like a Dead Sea Scroll that he found that like
Mm-hmm.
fell out of a bottle, and he picked it up and used it as a body or something. I'm trying to figure out like
Oh,
what part of him is actually him, because everything else is just stuff he found. I
yeah.
guess this is the core
I feel like it's the
of
head.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like if you stripped everything away, those little
it's
bottom
just that.
notches are his legs. Like those are his legs, and he just
Oh,
pulls up.
yeah, that's
He's
cool.
grabbing the
He's
scroll.
holding on to it perpetually with
Yeah.
his little
And
legs.
yeah, and then the
Ah,
scroll has legs already, so
yeah.
it's like a bunch of creatures coming together.
Maybe what he needs is he needs a stapler as one of his tools, because that's how he like continues to like append things to
It's
himself.
great.
So he's gonna have one tool that like beats people off so that they don't like get his treasure. He scares them away, and then he has another tool to when he defeats an enemy, he takes a he's kind of like Kirby. You know, like Kirby swallows
Yeah.
people and then takes their
Yep.
power. That's what this character does, except he has a stapler. So let me draw a
You should
stapler real
you should
quick.
make his arm. His arm is the stapler.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it just is a stapler. Yeah. You can have one arm that's strong for like beating people up, and then one that is just like a giant like claw stapler.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. I'm ready to go full in on this now. Ready for Netflix.
Yeah, you pitch. Let's pitch this idea. We already got it. I feel like I can do a couple legs with I don't know what this thing could be though.
Imaginary Lobo is saying like hermit crabs don't have to have a shell. It can be a tomato soup can or a jar. So if you need any of that, or they can also like, I'm gonna throw an
It's
idea of
true.
like they can patch up their crack in their shell with a sticker or with things like that too.
Oh yeah. I think I'm gonna have to commit to my shell and focus on the other pieces because I'm trying
Time
to be mindful
flies.
of the time. I know
Yeah.
that's I'm locked in on that, but I don't know. Maybe the chat. Like you see this little shape that I'm spinning around. What and where could this go? I do not know. it's it's like a flipper. His little goatee.
I'm getting somewhere here. Feeling I need a little glove hand. Where would you? I'm gonna lead you a little bit with my question because it's a
Hmm.
selfish one, but what I want to say is that I feel more confident in my decision making the last year or two, in that like I'm never gonna draw a hand that's actually holding on to something. I just,
Hmm.
I've gotten like lazier and lazier with my work, but it makes me feel more and more confident. Um, have you found any of that, of like kind of like you're obviously your style is very defined. Is it
Hmm.
still evolving all of the time? Do you still feel like, I should get better at drawing, or because I guess I'm at my point in my career, I'm like I'm officially ready to give up on getting better, but I'm going to
Mm,
commit to getting worse, I guess, which is going to in turn make my work better. Does that make
interesting.
sense?
Yeah, that's something I feel like I'm subconsciously thinking about a good bit lately because I feel like I've gotten more confidence in the past 3, 4 years than I ever have at the first half. And I
Okay.
think it was this realization of like, oh, wait, like, I've been doing this for so long and everything that I've been kind of chipping away at
Yeah.
for, over 10 years really accumulates where I kind of took a pause and looked at everything I've been making and creating. It's like, all right, like I am doing it. I am
Yep.
making these things happen. And I'm not a expert on faces or hands like you're saying either. And I think what keeps me going is there's still just so many ideas and things that I want to get to, whether that's
Yeah.
subject matters, whether that's materials, or even styles, illustration styles. So it's interesting because I don't think a lot of the times that my style is really there. I feel
Hmm.
like it's I don't know. I kind of see myself as just like a graphic designer in that sense. Like, oh, I can make whatever style you want.
Sure.
Um, but it's interesting because I find the inspiration is what keeps me going, and then I'm learning, subconsciously again from that.
Yeah, Tyler and I were meeting last night quickly on this stuff and started sharing our inspiration around like projects that I didn't realize that Tyler had done, because I think they were probably before we met, but Tyler did
Hmm.
a concrete molded like injection molded concrete candle that just and I was curious, like how crazy do you go when you're making these like self-imposed projects, because he knew about the Scully wooden toy that I did, and he's like, oh yeah, no, I was fully making it, and I was like, yeah, we are crazy, aren't we, that like this, you could have just had someone else do it. But
yeah, it's part of, I think, what defines creatives, right? There's something that we're trying to just visualize or make exist, and that kind of fuels me for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I've never done that, or I'll never. I don't. It would take forever for me to wait on the client to come to me for this idea. I should just go ahead and make it myself, and then that shows the world that I can do it. And I think that's kind of the blue book that's helped me, in a lot of ways. And I mean, it's fun. Like, yeah, exactly like what you were doing with Scully with the blocks, and I was totally following along with that. And that's before I really knew you.
That makes me happy.
Admiring, someone honing the craft and just making stuff for the heck of it is all I was thinking. I was like, that's awesome. I mean, and then I'm looking back and it's like, could I do some blocks? Like, I wonder what blocks would my version look like, And that's the fun part. Yeah. To get inspired.
Yeah, get inspired and then learn something, and then inevitably you're learning something that you didn't know you were going to learn. You're like, oh, I guess now I know about, like, I know all about the different grits of sandpaper now. I'm like, oh, you're going to need 400 for that. And I'm like, oh, you want to finish? You want to get up to 1,000 on that one. And I'm just like overly confident in my sandpaper abilities now, which was not the original intention at all.
That's funny.
All right, I'm getting somewhere here. I'm deleting some things. Let me take a look.
Ernesto actually got one of the candles back.
Oh, nice.
Back then too. Yeah. Trying to look for some hints for what I could do with this shape that I was having trouble with. I still don't know.
Hey, you spun it around. Somebody said if you mirror it, maybe it can be a Band-Aid. I don't know if that was the shape you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, it kind of does look like a Band-Aid. That's funny.
Let's call it at, we'll say 46.
Okay.
That gives us 7-ish minutes.
Let's do it.
All right, and then because I wanna reveal each other's, I want to also reveal what we did with the shapes, and then I want to mock them up as toys because I have an idea for that with Firefly.
Oh man, so I like the Band-Aid idea, but here's the thing with how my brain works. I'm like, oh, it should bend and it should be wrapped around the shell, and I'm just like, oh, I'm really trying to be critical with the rules. That helps me. It's like, all right, I can't bend that, so I'm gonna transform it completely.
All right, this guy's shooting staples out. Little staple guy. It's part. Yeah, I guess his stapler is also part of his defense mechanism as well. And he just needs a quick little treasure chest. Which, what do those look like? I don't really know. The amount of things I don't know what they look like because I just don't draw very often, like just by myself unless I have to. I'm like, what does a treasure chest look like?
It's totally fine. I mean, we are bypassing some critical steps of research.
Research.
I spend so much of my time
doing a pot of gold instead because that's something I can draw.
Yeah.
He's guarding a pot of gold instead.
I feel like I can make that shape that I'm struggling with. It is like, it feels so rigid, like it would stab the shell or something.
Oh, I see it.
But I don't know what it is though. I don't have a meaning for what that thing is.
It's debris. Just debris.
Yeah. All right, what am I missing? All right, this is it.
Great staple gun, thank you, Paul. All right, let's see here. right, got my pot of gold that he's guarding. I gotta add a couple water waves around so that everybody knows it's underwater. Got 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, we will reveal what we had originally drawn with our shapes and see where we differ. I'm wondering if I used any of your shapes as you initially intended. This is going to be... Oh, it's a treasure map. Which means it's just like lines with an X and a circle. And usually there's shapes all over it. Oh, it's so tempting to add a 6th color, but I'm not doing it.
I know, right?
Just, I need a lighter blue. But I came up with this palette, so I have to die. I live by the palette and die by the palette.
That's the official Collabie t-shirt right there.
Yeah. This idea is so fun because, just to reiterate, I mean, my own just excitement for the energy Tyler brought to this project was just like, this feels like uniquely, like we're collaborating with our shapes right now for sure, but I think the bigger collaboration has been like the conversation that we've had leading up to it and like really co-owning the whole project. And it's just been like, yeah, it's been really fun just co-owning the idea, I think more so than even like the final illustrations. And there's something really special about that, of just like, I don't know, like talking to people and making friends. And like this is like so much of the goal of this show for me, is to be able to like have an excuse to keep making new friends and further strengthen friendships and stuff. And so I really loved it.
Yeah, I totally agree, because I love just workshopping ideas. Hopefully that comes across. I was just like, oh, let's just...
I noticed that big time. It
parameters?
was so helpful for me because I kind of came to Tyler with a little bit of like I don't really know what we should do, but here's some ideas. And instead of Tyler getting overwhelmed at all, he was just like, okay, like, let's think. Like, let's, like, he was like, you got time? Like, you cool to... And I was like, oh, great. That's like my favorite thing somebody can say to me is like I have more time, because I always feel like people are like leaving, like, because when I was a kid it was like everybody had like plans and schedules, and I didn't, so I was like, everyone's always got to leave. And so the other night you were like, are you good to chat for a little bit longer? And I was like, oh dude, I got all night. And so we really workshopped it.
I'm a big fan of that type of processing, because it's easier for me, because it's like, all right, well, you've got the parameters. It's your thing. I'm excited to get into it. Let's just see what we can do to make it, exciting and work for both of us. And and it takes a lot of being open to that too, which, give yourself a big hoorah for that, because it takes that collaborative energy and sensibility, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And I think that's why, it's a humbling, not quite humbling, but the experience is, it's nice remembering that there are people that can contribute to your ideas. And of course they can. It sounds kind of nearsighted when I say it that way, but it's like, it's easy to kind of get, especially when you're freelancing and you're kind of completely, everything is on you. You're like, I'll just do it myself. I know how to do it. And so it's been actually a really great, I think, exercise for me, just to like, listen to other people's ideas. And then it's also so much more fun when you have full buy-in, rather than me like dragging you into the stream with my idea. I'm like, no, this is our idea that we're both responsible for. So if it burns in a fiery wreck, it's on both of us.
Yep. Nah, I didn't feel like that was going to happen either way. Because, I mean, it takes for me zooming out a little bit to realize, like, we're just drawing. Let's just go and have fun drawing.
Yeah.
Which I can't complain too much whenever I sit down and I think about it, really.
Man, can you believe this is what we get to do? I mean, really, like
It's great.
I didn't even go to school for it. I went to school for engineering, so I'm really like blindsided
Oh,
by
really?
this.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I had no anticipation of like doing this for a career, so I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I went to school for a visual communications degree, which that was just without going to an art school. That's what we had, and it
Sure,
was just
yeah.
an affordable school that I can commute to, and that was kind of my path. But always wanted to go to an art school. Just it's just one of those affordability things
Yeah.
as an earlier time. But I'm always stoked to realize like, oh, you don't have to go to the nicest, coolest school to go somewhere with this. It's just how much you want to work at it.
Yeah, especially with your work ethic. Like you've got a
Mhm.
very strong
Thanks,
work
man.
ethic.
I try to stay on it.
You certainly do. All right, I'm nearing
We
my
have time.
finishing point. We are, and I guess
Okay.
what are rules if not sticking to them? So
Okay.
I'm good to pencil down and our reveal because we got a couple minutes, and I still want to try
Okay.
to turn them into toys. So I'm gonna get my mouse and keyboard out a little bit.
Okay. Do.
I can talk through mine first if you want.
Yeah. Let's hear
I'll
yours.
focus my screen. So this was for anyone just joining or confused by the rules. Tyler gave me these shapes. I took buried treasure as a theme in this color palette and arranged them all as this. And I
Nice.
have this character that is guarding their buried treasure. Tyler had the great idea that like this is the only actual like organic matter. Everything
Yeah.
else he's just like stolen from combatants, and he's got this like magical wand that he can blind people with, and then he smashes them with a stapler, and then he also takes a piece of them and then staples it to him so that he like continues to become like a bigger like mech warrior or whatever, and eventually he'll just keep growing and growing, which I kind of feel like fits with like the
I like
fish thing,
that.
like fish eat smaller fish and they
Yep.
keep getting bigger and bigger, so it all makes scientific sense. Oh, and he's guarding his pot of gold, of course.
He's like this leprechaun. Hey, it's on brand because it's St. Patty's was
Yeah,
what a few days ago.
a couple days ago.
Wait, I just love now the idea of a St. Patrick's Day pirate.
Right, with this
Yes.
insane blinding color palette too. All right.
Yeah.
Do you want to reveal what you drew before, and then we can compare, and then jump to yours? I don't know what
Yeah.
order is best.
Let's do it. We
Do
can
I
do that.
have it? Is it in here? No, I don't have it.
Oh,
Pull it up on
okay.
your screen, and we'll switch to both screens.
Okay. Okay.
We're on both now.
You're on both.
Yep.
Well, how about this? I can walk through mine and then we'll
Yeah,
just
do
do a
that.
big
That way,
reveal.
I'm going to work on something
Yeah.
else in the background. So let me jump
Okay.
to your screen. You talk us through what you did with the shapes.
All right. So I did struggle with this little doodad shape up here, which is kind of stumbled upon. It's a hermit crab or some sort of little crab with a shell, and all of the treasures are just spearing him and like stuck to him. So he's like barnacles almost. I think I turned this little circular piece into like a pearl, so the pearl's just sticking on him. Another little piece of treasure. I'm just thinking these objects as treasure as a whole.
Sure.
Because what is treasure to a hermit crab? It's probably the things that they randomly pick up. The
Yeah,
trash.
totally. Trash, effectively.
And this guy's definitely a little frazzled. He's got a little mustache I made. These little shapes work perfectly for crab legs, or at least these little spiky legs.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I didn't
so I
even realize that
duplicated
that's what
those.
you grabbed. Oh, smart.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's the strongest piece. If anything, I would double back and just hone in on that leg and then
Yeah.
go from there if I did it again, because I think those are perfect for legs. And then got my crusty crab, Mr. Crab eyeballs in there. He's missing a tooth, and his little nose is this thing. What other shape are we? I think that's all the shapes. Yeah, one, two, three, 4, 5. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And Tyler,
that's them.
you
So
have my version on your artboard too, right? So you want to drag it
I
next
do.
to it?
I do.
Let's do
Okay.
it.
Should I remove them both at the same time?
Yeah, let's do that, and I'll jump to both screens just so that we kind of have both.
Okay.
So the originals that we did, I keep losing sight of the thing, but yeah, okay, there we are. I'm just gonna jump to yours big for a second.
Okay.
Wow.
All right. So the original. This was
Okay.
my original, and this is yours, which is interesting.
I was off for sure. I got the hat right at least.
Yeah, you named it when I heard you earlier say Captain Crunch, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's the inspiration for me.
Oh, that's great. Oh, there's the comparison of what I came
man.
up with. Yeah, not so far off. Not that I had to get it exact, but really clear difference in it all. But I love it. And then for my wacky shark,
I love that. So is
yeah,
it a
those are all
person
my
in a
shapes.
shark?
That was
seeing,
my
like,
idea.
eyeballs.
It's like exactly.
Like,
Yeah, if you
look
zoom
at
way
these.
in, he's got eyeballs like peeking out of like a shark. I don't know what it was, but he's this like robo shark fella, and it reminded me so much of like Street Sharks, and I think the color palette got
yeah.
real Street Sharky too.
Dude, well, that's a good transition if you want to talk
Yeah.
about the last little bit of time we got. What
Yeah.
you decided to do with your character is pretty cool.
Yeah. So the other day for a client, we were like concepting ideas for these plushies, and I was like, let me just throw it into Adobe Firefly and see what it does, just for like an idea. I was like, oh, extra furry textured plushie, and then I uploaded like an image of the drawing of it, and it came out so damn good that I thought we'd do it today with these, but I changed it to like plastic toys, like 90s plastic toys. I'll jump to my screen and see if I can show what we did. So I just uploaded this one. First, let me show the successful one of like,
Okay.
I've been doing it all yesterday, but what I did was I uploaded, like, I think this right around here was getting pretty good, where I was like 90s style action figure toy with flippers, walking undersea, white background, studio lighting, hard plastic texture. And then I uploaded a reference of like a 90s toy, and then uploaded my reference of the drawing, and like, not bad. I think I can have it
That's pretty
upscale it
good.
too. Let's see if I can get that done quick enough. I forget where the upscale.
I mean, from afar, just what it's doing with the clear plastic pieces. You know what I mean? Like the defining legs and the.
It's crazy how well it knew like what I'm going for of like, and I just like, it just keeps giving me these crazy ideas for tools and different things. And it's like, it's totally screaming like 90s style stuff.
Yeah.
Tyler, I think we're gonna get kicked off in a minute.
Okay.
I always forget which time it is. So let me start saying goodbye, and then we'll click around for a few more minutes until we kill it. But stay around for whatever's next for streaming. In a couple of weeks, I'll continue to announce on Instagram when these are. We'll be with another guest. We'll keep doing this stuff. Go check out Tyler's work on Instagram, The Creative Pain. And yeah, I mean, this has been like my favorite thing that I've been able to do in a long time, to be able to just like play and have fun. So thank you everyone for joining. Tyler, seriously, thank you for being here. We just like solidified our bond. We're going to be at CropCon too in like a couple of weeks, so we're going to get to meet up in person again too. And it's going to be warm in Texas, so can't wait.
It's going to be great, man.
It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. And we'll share this stuff on Instagram, our final images or whatever in our stories, so feel free to go check them out. And if anybody made anything, please tag us and show us what you made, because we really would love to see it. And from there, that's that. Let's do it. I'll find a way to hang up on this. And cool.
This is great, man. It's been fun. Thanks again for having me.
Hell yeah, of course. Thanks for being here. All right. Bye, everyone.
Buddy. See ya.